Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. And today's issue of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, July 18th, 2025. And right here on the front, we've accomplished building the dream. Valley Life Recreation marks official opening of Squirrel Hills Trail Park. And pictured, the ribbon-cutting ceremonies for Minnedosa's Trail Park were completed this past weekend. The occasion was wet with plenty of cheers and applause from all in attendance. By Casper Werhan. A labor of love from passionate volunteers reached a new peak recently. After years of dedication and hard work, Minnedosa's Valley Life Recreation held the official grand opening of the Squirrel Hills Trail Park on Saturday, July 12th. All of the public was welcome to attend the ribbon-cutting ceremony, which was held at the new trailhead. It thrills us all so much to have so many of you here. Thank you. We've accomplished building the dream team, and we are very excited to welcome a new chapter for Squirrel Hills, said Dave Turnier, board chairperson for Valley Life Recreation. We'd like to acknowledge the many partners who have helped us get up to this point, and all of you who are here to celebrate with us. Behind the Dream. First established in 1991 as the Squirrel Hills Recreation Area, this scenic location began as a cross-country ski and summer hiking trail area. Over the decades, teams of volunteers maintained and gradually expanded this outdoor community feature. The plans to further develop the Squirrel Hills Recreation Area began in 2020, following the creation of Valley Life Recreation. This vision for a major expansion and development led to what is now known by residents and visitors as the Squirrel Hills Trail Park. And we knew this was something that Oli would really have loved. The updates undertaken over the past 5 years have included the addition of 9 kilometers of new single track added to the existing 7 kilometer of ski hiking trails, with trail entrance portals, trail maps, and comprehensive trailway finding signage. New trail optimized for biking, hiking, trail running, etc. New trail highlights, example Richardson Family Trails, a pavilion formerly known as the Sunrise Credit Union Pavilion, bike racks, Saputo Nature Playground, Oli High Skills Park, and much more. To accomplish all of the new developments and additions to the Squirrel Hills Trail Park, over 4,000 hours of volunteer effort was poured forth. Approximately 1,000 of those hours was for board meetings alone. As one of the founding members of the Valley Life Recreation, I just want to say that throughout this entire trail expansion process, I have been humbled time and time again with the level of commitment and enthusiasm, ideas and leadership my fellow Valley Life Recreation board members have brought to make this project come to life, said Timothy Fracota. It's been a true labor of love. During the opening ceremonies, a Métis flag was presented by Les Métis Locales to the Valley Life Recreation Board. This flag is also intended to be flown at the new trailhead in the near future, complementing some of the trailhead's existing features, which provide recognition to the Métis peoples and harken back to Minnedosa's roots. For the Métis people, we believe so strongly in our youth. That's why, right now, this grand opening for our youth, every youth, is so important. With our youth, you're our future, said Barbara Fleury, a member of Les Métis Locales. Keep the physical. It keeps you good mental health, and that is important. Additional speeches were given by government dignitaries, members of Valley Life Recreation, and supporting groups, and presentations made to acknowledge key supporters. A portion of these proceedings included the presentation of a certificate from Member of Parliament Dan Mazer in recognition of Valley Life Rec's many hours of hard work. A living tribute. Our particularly special and emotional moment came, however, with the recognition of the late Oli Hiai. Oli was a huge supporter of the Squirrel Hills Trail Park and held a major love for running, biking, and the outdoors. He was well known not just for his talent and drive, but for how he supported and connected with others. Oli had known there were plans to further develop Squirrel Hills and held immense enthusiasm for what it would mean for the community. Sadly, he passed away in July of 2021, just 2 days before the plans were announced. To honor Oli, to recognize his family's support, and to formally open the Oli High Skills Park, his parents Lee and Rob were presented with a plaque following a round of hugs from the Valley Life Recreation Board. I really don't know what to say. No family wants to have to do something in memory of their child. Let's be honest, nobody should ever have to. But we are extremely grateful that we get to, especially in this way. Rob and I knew that this was something that Oli would have loved to get behind, said Lee. This whole project, this is more than just bike park. It's more than just a trail park. And this over here, gestures to the skills park, I've been watching it the whole time we've been sitting here, and there's not been a single second that someone has not been on that. And Oli would just be beside himself excited. This is a living, breathing tribute to Oli in a place that's very special to him. Lee added later, we are so incredibly grateful to this crew at the Valley Life Rec, the community of Minnedosa, Government of Manitoba, all of the volunteers and funders who have helped turn grief and sorrow into something truly beautiful, a space where joy, community, and true spirit of Oli can live on. Thanks is given to the Valley Life Recreation, to all who helped make the Big Squirrel Hills Trail Park dream possible. Note, an additional bit of information of an interest to readers of the Neepawa Banner and Press is that the Squirrel Hills Trail Park sprawls across 3 different land ownerships. Part of the land is owned by the town of Minnedosa, another part is Crown land, and the third portion is privately owned land that was contributed by the owner for the expansion project. This was also acknowledged during the grand opening. And pictured Rob and Lee up at the top, parents of the late Oli High, were welcome to participate in and be recognized at the grand opening ceremonies of the Squirrel Hills Trail Park on July 12th. Valley Life Recreation Board members shared a round of heartfelt hugs with the pair, seen above, before presenting them with a plaque. The plaque was in recognition of their support and efforts, as well as Oli's. Pictured right, a pair of bikers using a portion of the Oli High Skills Park. And down at the bottom, the Saputo Nature Playground was popular with youth and some adults, both for rest and play. And moving on, some Neepawa news. Pictured here on this side, old grass removed on boulevards to prepare for reseeding. The existing sections of grass on several boulevards along Main Street in Neepawa have been removed in preparation for the area to be leveled and reseeded. And a new sidewalk installed along Mill Street, suburb expansion. The gradual completion of the new subdivision on the former CN property in Neepawa continues, with the installation of a new sidewalk and trees along Mill Street. In the future, this new pathway will serve pedestrians by allowing safe access from the residential properties to the proposed commercial areas to be developed along the highway. And the new health center is still on track for a 2026 handover. And pictured is an aerial view of the hospital showing the helicopter pad at the bottom, and also some interior pictures. The top picture, an aerial view of the work that is continuing on Neepawa's east end for the new regional health center. Above left, a look at what will be in the inpatient wing of the hospital once completed. And above right, how the main entrance currently appears. And this is by Joshua Jackson. The construction of Neepawa's new health center continues to trudge along. Each day, approximately 200 to 250 tradespeople can be found working on the site, with the number expected to increase as construction continues. In a release by Prairie Mountain Health, Crews have been focusing on building out the interior clinical and public spaces, with framing and drywall work underway in many areas. Workers have installed most of the major mechanical building equipment, while mechanical and electrical rough-in work continues. An article by Prairie Mountain Health mentions that the electrical contractors are beginning to pull wiring and data cables in some areas of the new hospital. The interior spaces are set to be completed in phases, with some areas 60% complete, while other areas are just starting work to keep the different trades involved in building the facility organized and following each other. Crews have also been working on landscaping, roadways, and parking areas in the summer heat. The building itself is almost completely clad with finished materials, with only trim areas remaining. The hospital's outbuildings, like the facility's storage garage and emergency generator building, are almost complete. Construction on the new hospital is still on track, with plans to hand the building to PMH in 2026, with the first patients being seen in 2027. And we'll move on to Right and Center by Ken Waddell. A mix of fun and, fun and serious stories. First, some fun. A man from the McGrath family at Strathclair told me a neat story about one of his ancestors, which prompted this thought to my brain was visiting the campground and beach at Rapid City during their annual Pork Fest. Noted on the historical plaque at the beach is a story about a flour mill on the river in the earlier days of Rapid City. According to the McGrath family legend, one of their earliest family members in the Strathclair area was told by his wife one day they were getting really low on flour. So Mr. McGrath reportedly put a big sack of wheat on his back and proceeded to hike towards the flour mill at Rapid City. By today's highway map, it's about a 35-mile trek, but maybe it was a bit shorter across country. Upon arriving at the mill, McGrath was annoyed, as only a penny-pinching Scotsman can get annoyed, about the price increase when he was told by the miller that the price had gone up since his last visit. In a huff, McGrath decided he wasn't going to pay the higher price and walked back home with his wheat. Upon his arrival, he was met with some scorn by his wife, who, according to the family legend, said, "Ach, man, you may saved your pennies, but we still have no flour." McGrath marched back the next day to correct his penny-pinching ways and get his bag of flour. My dad, also a Scotsman, was born in 1907 and came to Canada in January 1913. He spent his early years in Montreal and then until 1922 on a farm at Christyville, Quebec. For the next 8 years or so, he worked across Canada, mostly Western Canada, and often traveled by method called riding the rails. That meant getting into or on top of a railway car and hitching a ride for free. Times were tough, and so any free way of getting across the country was sought out. Some men would ride the rods, which he said was crawling in under the rail cars and laying on a board laid on the connecting rods under the rail cars. If you fell off, you would likely be killed by the train. My dad said he never rode the rods, way too dangerous. Men would often travel in pairs or small groups. But one night, Dad climbed into a boxcar by himself in the dark. He sensed there was another person in the car. A match was struck, which provided a brief bit of light. Dad was smaller in stature, but he remembered the man with the match was very large, and all he said was, "Hi." In the morning, the man with the match was gone. Such a meeting could have turned out badly, but my dad was grateful it didn't. His older brother, a man of even slighter stature, told me he was getting off a train somewhere at night and sensed the person was coming up behind him on the train station platform. My uncle simply reached down and swung his fist up, giving the approaching man an uppercut that dropped him in his tracks. Uncle wasn't taking any chances. Over the last 7 decades, I have heard and collected a lot of stories, so I can't resist inserting a few into my column once in a while. The next story is a more serious topic and isn't so much a story as an observation. Over the weekend, I was pondering the very serious wildfire situation and the extreme smoky air conditions, the evacuation and huge cost of coping with fires. I am wondering if we had spent as much on forestry management as we have in the past 5 to 10 years on emergency firefighting, we might not have had as many evacuations, buildings lost, forests destroyed, and human deaths. Nobody is talking much yet about the loss of animals and birds. If nothing else, Manitoba, and all of Canada for that matter, has to rethink how we do forestry and fire management. Every community should have a wide maintained fire guard around the communities. Perhaps wood harvesting of all kinds needs to be stepped up, such as lumber, firewood, pulp and paper, and wood chip production. I can't imagine us wanting as a country to go through these kinds of fires again. I think fires can be prevented and controlled, but it will take a major change in the use of money and other resources. Manpower and political will have to create safer communities. Change must come. And the disclaimer, the views expressed in this column are the writer's personal views and are not to be taken as being the views of the newspaper staff. And we move on to Home Buddies by Rita Friesen. I woke to watch the sunrise. The seasons flow so quickly. The longer daylight hours are shortening already. It's simply minutes per day, a few more minutes lost in the morning than in the evening. I don't know why or how, but that's what my limited research shows. Earliest sunrise for our area was 5:19 a.m., and now it's about 5:40. Sunset has shifted from 9:41 to 9:28. The bedroom window faces east, and most evenings I draw the darkening blind. I forgot and woke up to a splendor-filled morning sky. There was no moment of delay, and the colors called me to full awareness, knowing that the day ahead could be a long one. I watched as the sun gained dominance over the darkness, pinks and purples flowing across the heavens. So perfect was the morning that looking out the west window, tinges and daubs of colors echoed there. The sun, far to the north, glowed and pulsed and rose slowly, ever changing the hues and depths of color. Mesmerized, I watched until the full morning won, blue skies gently swaying treetops, now center stage. It's not often that I watch a summer sunrise. Sunsets are my specialty. I admire the photos my friend Pat posts on social media, sunrises from her front door, but not so much as witness the actual event. And with all the awe the view inspired, I never thought to capture it with anything other than my memory. How did this blessed moment change my day? It was easier for me to see beauty in the ordinary, to note the growth and development of the garden, to hear the songs of the birds, to simply sit. As many of you know, sitting doesn't come easy for me. Somehow that deliberate act of watching the sunrise changed the tempo of my day. Could it be considered a moment of meditation, a prayer-filled time? Not consciously. I know that watching the dark chased away by the light moved me deeply. It is encouraging and inspiring. Is part of everyday living and choosing. So many times darkness comes in shifting shapes and personal memories and current events. And so many times light comes in shifting shapes and persons. It comes with true dawning. It comes in words of peace and loving. It comes through gentle actions and caring thoughts. In most of our lives, there are moments, seasons of the darkness. And it is in these times we need to be shown the light. We need to see the light. That particular sunrise was, for me, a brief revisit to the Isle of Iona, to the peace of Big Valley, to the walk through the tall trees. It was an awareness of the majesty of creation, the majesty of the Creator, the wonder of life and living. I didn't expect the glory of sunrise to move me so deeply, but it did. Did I miss the extra hours of sleep? Probably not. Sleep is my elusive friend at best. Would I set an alarm to try and recapture the moment? Absolutely not. Did it change me? Without a doubt. And moving on, Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine. Another year looking back. I just celebrated another birthday. I'm not bragging, just reporting facts. I can't avoid birthdays. I can't hide from them. They come every year on the same date, and each birthday reminds me that I'm 1 year closer to the day, known only to God, when my time on this planet will end. So today and next week, I want to share some birthday reflections. This week I will share 3 things that haven't changed since I was born, and conclude with the one lesson I have learned from these observations. First, the world has not come to an end, yet. It has survived 2 world wars, hundreds of smaller conflicts, numerous elections and regime changes. It has bounced back from major natural disasters like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, floods, and wildfires. And so far, it has taken back the remains of everything to which it has given life. Plants, animals, and people cannot escape the fact that we are dust to dust. We will return. Second, God has not abandoned this world. Its people, or the nations in which we live, those who suggest he has, and I will include some prominent televangelists in that list, are not telling you the whole truth. God will allow us to suffer the consequences of the choices we make, but He will never leave or forsake us. One day the universe and this planet will cease to exist. It will be replaced with a new heaven and a new earth. But until then, God's promises to this earth and its people will remain intact and will be kept. Many years ago, the prophet Jeremiah wrote, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is God's faithfulness." Lamentations 3:22-23. St. Paul, 2 Thessalonians 2:7-8, tell us that the forces of evil, which he calls the mystery of lawlessness, have been at work in our world since creation and will continue until the one who restrains it is removed. God's Spirit is actively holding back the evil forces that, if not restrained, would make conditions in today's world far worse than they were in the days of Noah. God hasn't abandoned us. Don't let anyone suggest that He has. Third, the cycles of life continue as they always have. God has kept the promise He made to Noah after the great flood. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. Genesis 8:22. These seasonal cycles have remained constant since the flood. So have life cycles. Every living thing is born, grows to maturity, ages, and dies. Modern science has given us the ability to trace vital trends in society and the environment. Thanks to them, we have up-to-date information on pandemics, global warming, climate change, and numerous other threats to human life and health. So here's the lesson I have learned. Science can tell us how we got to where we are, but it cannot tell us how to instantly undo damage to our planet and its environment that has taken decades to create. God alone knows what's ahead for this planet and its people. He has given us people with the wisdom to guide us through the challenging times that lie ahead. He expects us to listen to them and trust that God will speak through them and to guide us in a way that we should go. The question, will we do as God desires? And from the Beautiful Plains Archives, the Gunner Trophy recipients of 1980. Pictured here are the recipients of the Frank Gunner Memorial Trophy for 1980. The reward was presented late May that year, being received at the provincial rifle shoot held in Dauphin. This team got top marks in the beginner's written test in the Manitoba Junior Rifle Club Championships. They also were the first team to bring the trophy home to Neepawa. At the time of the photo, these boys were ages 10 to 12. Pictured are Marshall Dolding, Tony McDougall, Evan McGorman, Murray Sneesby, and Jeff Chappell. And a letter to the editor. What's the problem with going with the simplest solution? And this is from Norm Hogarth. I, as a concerned citizen, ask where would somebody come up with such a ridiculous, confusing, want-to-be remedy to any highway intersection? It looks like a recipe for disaster. What's the problem using a straightforward use of traffic lights? This would be more cost-effective. Everybody would get a turn at crossing safely. Use the extra savings to employ more enforcement people. Another problem is maximum only in school, playground, and work zones. I was traveling west on number 16 highway at posted speed. Somebody passing caused me to take the shoulder with oncoming traffic. The other shoulder and the perpetrator went down the middle. Why such inconsiderate, dangerous driving? The passing lane was only 3 to 4 kilometers ahead. In my 1,000-kilometer trip, the only enforcement people I saw was one vehicle at Chicken Chef and 2 at Russell Inn on Friday. Why don't people realize speed and carelessness kills? It's better to be late than in hell on time. And again, Norm Hogarth. And we have some thumbs up and thumbs down. Thumbs up to Penno's Machining and TIC Parts for making fixing things so easy. The farming community is lucky to have them, by Bryce Parrott. And thumbs down to the individuals who left 5 small puppies at the Eden dump to fend for themselves. How could you be so cruel? Fortunately, better people than you have rescued them. And that is from Dan Walker of Burnie. And out of Helen's kitchen, food safety continued. Did you know that undercooked hamburger is a large source of E. coli infection? For food safety, cook food to the right internal temperature. The only way to know if the correct internal temperature is by using a food thermometer. Beef and pork, medium rare, 145 Fahrenheit, 63 Celsius. Well done. 77 Celsius, 170 Fahrenheit. Fish, 145 Fahrenheit, 63 Celsius. Ham, 145 Fahrenheit, 63 Celsius. Ground meats, 160 Fahrenheit, 71 Celsius. And all poultry, 165 Fahrenheit or 74 Celsius. The cost of a thermometer is inexpensive compared to missing several days of work due to a bout of food poisoning. To check the temperature, insert the thermometer into the middle of the meat without touching any bones or layers of fat. Wash and sanitize your thermometer after use. Slow cooker can be used to cook food, but not to reheat it. Bring sauces, gravies, and soups to a boil when reheating. When reheating foods in the microwave, rotate and stir food midway through, reheating to distribute the heat evenly. When marinating meats, if you want some of the marinade to baste cooked meats or use as a dipping sauce, make sure to set some aside in the refrigerator that hasn't touched uncooked meat. When using the BBQ, do not place cooked meat on the same plate used to bring the raw meat to the BBQ. Raw juices can spread bacteria to your safely cooked food. That quick wipe of the raw meat plate does not make it any safer. I think everyone should know this, but I have seen it happen. Don't wash meat, poultry, or seafood to avoid spreading harmful germs around your kitchen. These raw meats can ready to cook and do not need to be washed first. Washing these foods can spread germs to the sink, to your hands, and the surrounding counter. Do not defrost food at room temperature. The outside of the food, which thaws first, will spend too much time in the danger zone that lead to bacterial growth. And next week, what is the danger zone? And she has a couple recipes: planked salmon and salmon and veggies in foil. And the Riverbend Makers Market returns home to Neepawa by Owen Devereux. And the picture: after 1 year hiatus, the Riverbend Makers Market is returning to Neepawa on July 19th. The organizers of the Riverbend Makers Market are looking forward to the event's greatly anticipated return to Neepawa. After a 1 year hiatus, the Retail Arts and Crafters event is back and scheduled for Saturday, July 19th at Riverbend Park. Neepawa Tourism is organizing the festivities, with board member Jacqueline Farrow helping to lead the way. Farrow said they have a nice variety of vendors committed to this year's market. We currently have 20 committed vendors, and they range from handmade bath bombs and soaps, handmade jewelry, food products, wooden furniture and decor, plus much more, said Farrow. We are excited to be back at it this year and look forward to seeing the turnout we get, especially with all the other fantastic things going on in Neepawa on the 19th as well. Farrow noted that the last-minute preparations are going very well, although they could always welcome some additional help. Our volunteer list is looking good. There's always room for a few more people, but we've had a wonderful amount of support this year from a few different groups around Neepawa. The Riverbend Makers Market is set for July 19th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. All the proceeds from the $5 admission fee will be donated to the Margaret Lawrence House. And one everybody likes to hear about: the province backs off the RCUT plan near Carberry. Canoe government discards proposal for disliked intersection upgrade by Owen Devereux. The road safety option no one around Carberry wanted for the Trans-Canada Highway is now officially off the table. During the interview this week with Golden West Broadcasting, Premier Wab Kinew said that the province will no longer proceed with the proposed reduced conflict U-turn, RCUT, for the intersection of the Trans-Canada and Highway 5. That location was the site of the 2023 multi-vehicle crash that killed 17 people and injured 8. What we're announcing today is something that we're not going to do, Kinew told Golden West on Wednesday, July 9th. It's really important to our government that we listen to rural Manitoba, and folks in Carberry and the surrounding region have made it very clear they do not want this RCUT design. The Banner and Press reached out to the Premier's office for additional details, and Kinew did further elaborate on the point. After hearing clearly from the community, our government will not proceed with the RCUT design at the intersection of Highway 1 and 5 near Carberry. While engineers identified it as a safe option, rural Manitobans told us it's not the right fit. We're listening, stepping back, and developing a new approach that prioritizes safety and reflects local needs. This process will include further design work, budgeting, and consultation with a commitment to transparency and community input every step of the way. The R-Cut, the reduced collision U-turn concept, had been one of 3 considered for the intersection to improve safety at busy highway intersections when traffic volumes do not support an overpass. It basically forces drivers to make a U-turn instead of turning left. These intersections are new to Canada, but they have been extensively built in the United States. The other original options that had been under consideration were a widened median intersection. This option will see the westbound lane relocated farther north, creating a wider median between the east and west lanes of about 66 meters. A split intersection. This option is similar to a widened median, but is even wider, 166 meters. In his interview with Golden West Broadcasting, Canoe stated that the province will begin developing new proposals for the high-traffic rural intersection, but these original concepts could be under consideration once again, depending on the new budget and potential land acquisition. The R-Cut proposal has drawn significant backlash within the community of Carberry due to concerns about the impact on large farm equipment, emergency vehicles, and school buses. Because of those concerns, rural residents mobilized to oppose the proposal in the form of a rally and petition. Jordan Dixon, who is one of the people that helped organize the local process, said they're pleased with the decision and looking forward to seeing what the province does next. Our group that organized the R-Cut opposition rally and petition is very excited that the province listened to local residents and scrapped the option. We are hopeful that the province will do their due diligence this time in listening to locals and conducting traffic counts during the busy harvest season, said Dixon. We will keep fighting for safety and look forward to see what the province does next. And end of an era in Neepawa. Neepawa Lions Club formally disbands. The Neepawa Lions Club is officially announcing the conclusion of its services in Neepawa. The club's final order of business occurred on June 30th, 2025. At the final meeting of the Neepawa Lions Club, the remaining members dispersed the club's bank account by making donations to the following community groups: Neepawa and Area Collegiate Graduation Scholarships for the next 10 years, Neepawa Salvation Army for the Community Kitchen Program, Touchwood Park Association for the Accessibility Playground Equipment Project, Beautiful Plains Museum, Neepawa Habitat for Humanity for the 2025 New Home Project, and the Beautiful Plains Historical Archives Society. Over the past few months, club members collected, sorted, delivered, and the historical documents to the Historical Archives Society so that the club's legacy would be preserved. The Lions Club members also met with the Neepawa Town Council, and arrangements were finalized to transfer the ownership of the Stony Creek School to the town of Neepawa. The school was designated a heritage building in 2017. The school is located at the Neepawa Riverbend Park. It is with regrets that the Neepawa Lions had to conclude its services in Neepawa area. We simply failed to recruit new members to keep the club functioning. The club obtained its charter from Lions Club International in 1938. Its contributions to Neepawa area has been enormous over its 87 years legacy. The club members gave countless hours to local projects, volunteering at fundraising events, as well as labor hours in the construction of buildings, parks, and sporting facilities. Funds were raised to support nonprofit organizations, school bands and scholarships, and athletic events for all ages. Funds were given to organizations serving individuals with disabilities and to persons requiring medical assistance for expense coverage. In addition, the Neepawa Lions Club also fulfilled its obligations in supporting countless programs under the sponsorship of the Lions Club International Foundation. These projects took a number of club members to places around the world where funds were raised in Neepawa helped people in need. The collection of recycled eyeglasses by the Lions Club is an important part of sight restoration for people in third world countries. This collection of glasses will continue in Neepawa. Club members have prepared and presented the names of the club's charter members, names of all the past presidents, and the names of all 403 members from 1938 to 2025. These lists are being preserved by the Beautiful Plains Archives. In closing, on behalf of all the current and past Neepawa Lions Club's members, we wish to express our thanks to all the area's citizens, current and past. the town of Neepawa and the neighboring municipalities who supported every club's fundraising events and volunteered assistance to the club over the past 87 years. And not her first rodeo. Rain Pryor takes Rotary Club reins. And pictured Rain Pryor was raised at Neepawa but spent several years away, including 1 year in the Philippines. Rain has many years' experience in journalism, community leadership, and is a longtime member of the Neepawa Rotary Club. She is the former director of Arts Forward, and she chairs the local library board. And many of you have seen her here on our local NACTV station. And this is by Joshua Jackson. It's been 10 years since Rain Pryor was last in the captain seat of Neepawa's Rotary Club. The Rotarian was the first female president of the local organization exactly 1 decade ago and is eager to return to this position. My first presidency was meaningful to me. It was also the hook they used to get me to do it the first time, because there's no election. You just get tapped on the shoulder like, "Will you be president?" She said. When I came in, I did a big speech on the history of women in Rotary because women weren't even allowed into Rotary clubs until the late 80s. The president also grew up knowing Rotary and held a special place for the organization in her heart because she was a Rotary exchange student during high school and was sent to the Philippines. This was long before we had any Filipino immigration in Neepawa, so it has come in handy having had that year-long experience. Rotary sponsored me, and I stayed with Rotary families there, said Pryor. After having that experience as a young person and being sponsored to do these incredible things, you want to give that back and make that happen for other people. Pryor has 2 main goals for her term as president. One of them is to restart the long-term exchange program. I would love to see someone go out for Neepawa and host a student here in the fall of 2026. That means we'll be looking for a host family and working with the school to make sure they'll accept the student, she said. You have to do a lot of paperwork at least a year ahead of this whole thing happening. That is one of my big goals for this year, and I've been telling everyone that because I'm excited. Pryor noted that her other goal is much less interesting to the public, but is integral to the foundation of the Rotary Club. She plans to consolidate all the feedback they've received from club members over the years to create a 3-year roadmap. The club plans to focus on local projects because there's so much need in the community for various things. She pointed to the Rotary Club donating to the new hospital, daycares, recreation facilities, and parks. As the community grows, it needs more and different things. This used to be a community that stayed a static size, and now this is a community that is growing through young families and birth rate. So the needs are kind of in those areas where we can contribute to a lot of those scholarships for students. Pryor also lauded the Rotary's new satellite club and is thrilled to watch its growth. There's a big growth within the club, and the satellite club, who has younger members, they have a different perspective on what the town needs. They've been working hard and donating things to places around town, like pool chairs to the Neepawa pool. The club president says a lot to be excited about for Rotary this year, as fellow Neepawa Rotarian Wayne Jacobson is the District 5550 governor, and Neepawa will be hosting the district conference. District 5550 is Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Northern Ontario. It's a big thing. People come from all over for this conference, so that is a big project for the club this year, she said. This conference brings tourists to our town, and there are huge spin-off opportunities there, and we're looping in things like walking tours, using the golf course, shopping trips for spouses who are coming along, or activities for kids. There are a lot of opportunities for us to partner with local organizations. Pryor noted that there are many projects they plan on doing this year and have a lot on the go. She said they are always keen to add new members and encourages you to check out their Facebook page for all of the latest club information. And Painting Music at Arts Forward by Casper Warehan. There's a new interactive experience at Arts Forward. Until August 29th, the Neepawa Arts and Culture Center is home to the exhibit titled Painting Music. This display was a joint collaboration between Neepawa artists Gwen Barella and Shannon Desjardins. Barella is well known in the community for her acrylic works and Desjardins for her oil-based works. At a meet and greet held last Wednesday, it was shared that the idea for this exhibit came from an unexpected spark. I was talking about doing this eagle painting, said Desjardins, referencing one of the pieces on display, and the whole time I had this song, Up Where We Belong, stuck in my head. I told Gwen about it, and she said, Let's do an exhibit on it. As a result, and fitting with the title, each piece in the painting music has a song associated with it. This extends from the title to a QR code visitors can scan to listen to the relevant song. Each song paired with a painting is a song that the artist listened to while making their art. While some pieces came to be with the idea for them being formed first and the music following, many were also made in the opposite order, that is, hearing the song first and forming an idea based on the music. Some pieces on display are also works in progress and will be added to later on. An example of this is the works from a painting exercise Barella and Desjardins have been doing for the Elton John's Yellow Brick Road. People are encouraged to visit the exhibit at Arts Forward to see the progress made on these pieces thus far, as well as enjoy the exhibit as a whole. When asked about their personal favorites featured in painting music, Barella and Desjardins each had a unique answer. I don't have a particular attachment once I'm done a piece. Once it's done, said Desjardins. But I really enjoy the process, so in terms of painting, I've really loved Yellow Brick Road, which is interesting, as I'm the opposite. I have a hard time letting them go, Barella noted. For me, my favorite was Kiss. It was a revelation for me. I love the techniques and processes for painting it. The pair also noted that sometimes artwork that is a work in progress may take hours, months, or even longer to fully finish. Sometimes a painting can take you years to complete, said Barella. You can get stuck, and sometimes you just take it down and stick it in a corner and look at it for a while. Then later on, it will suddenly just come to you. Desjardins agreed, adding, sometimes you do the most painting without a brush in your hand. And pictured above, left, Neepawa artists Shannon Desjardins and Gwen Barella work from these two artists is currently being featured at Arts Forward in Neepawa. Pictured on the right, a portion of the painting by Desjardins. This was the painting she was working on, which led to the discussion that inspired the painting music exhibit. It's titled Up Where We Belong, after the song by Jennifer Warnes and Joe Cocker. And pictured at the bottom is Kiss, painted by Gwen Barella. This painting was titled after a song of the same name by Prince. The works on this page are just two of the many on display at Arts Forward. Oh. And the 4-H Fat Stock Show and Sales, thank you to all the donators and buyers and judges and supporters. And there's an awful lot of names to read, which I'm not going to do because there's a lot of names. But if you care to see it, it shows the Grand Champion Steer from Kate Hinsberg of Rapid City and the Reserve Grand Champion Steer, Quinn Sawchuk of Neepawa, as well as Supreme Champion Female and Champion 2-year-old Female from Kendra Hinsberg of Rapid City, Reserve Champion Female and Reserve Champion 2-year-old Kate Hinsberg of Rapid City, Team Grooming Champions, Avery Jury, Chet Wachishin, Benson Bootsman, and Hannah Tibbett, and the Grand Champion Yearling Heifer and Best Homegrown Heifer, Elijah Ginter of Erickson, as well as many other exhibitors and awards are listed here, as well as the donors and sponsors and assists and judges. It's quite an event. And the Lely Nook continues to flourish in Neepawa, local business celebrating 30 years and a new location by Joshua Jackson. And picture people wanting to find the Lely Nook at its new location along Highway 5 South can still recognize the turnoff by its memorable sign left. The business has moved to a location of its growing fields, where the owners grow and care for a wide variety of lilies, such as the one shown above. And at the bottom, Nigel, left, and Mimi, right, and Joyce, not pictured. Stroman's creation of the Lily Nook continues to bloom and thrive in their new location, 5 miles, 8 kilometers south of Neepawa on Highway 5. When you think of Neepawa, one of the first things that lightly comes to mind is lilies, and that's mostly in part due to the Lily Nook. Owned by Nigel, Mimi, and Joyce Stroman, the Nook began to blossom after Nigel and his father Barry decided to change hobbies and explore their love of the genus Lilium, turning the hobby into a thriving mail-order business. With 30 years in the game, the Lily Nook continues to bloom and grow. Their operation has laid some new roots in 2025 after relocating to their growing field 5 miles, 8 kilometers south of Neepawa on Highway 5. The Neepawa Banner and Press sat down with Nigel Stroman to talk about the Lily Nook's legacy. Congratulations on the new location. What are the key benefits or opportunities that this move to your growing field presents for the Lily Nook? There is only one location to manage now, which makes it so much easier. There is no more back and forth. We are on the same road, only 2.5 miles further than our old location. What does reaching this 30-year milestone mean to the Lily Nook? We are very grateful to make it to 30 years. Some years we've had good growing conditions, and some years we've had struggles, such as losing my mentor, my dad, the COVID-19 pandemic, and equipment malfunctions. Thanks to the support from our loyal customers, we are still here. How has the vision for the Lily Nook evolved from its beginning to the thriving mail order business it is today? We always serve to provide healthy bulbs, true to the name, which has helped grow our brand. It has been more hands-on with customer phone calls and requests. Tourism has helped grow our business during the off-season. When people come out to view the lilies, we also promote our website and local media, which has helped broaden our audience. What has been the Lily Nook's overall contributions to the lily industry and the wider gardening community over the past 3 decades? I've been involved with the Manitoba Lily Society and the North American Lily Society. We have spread new varieties of lilies throughout North America and our region, and we have been fortunate to be an exclusive distributor of Dr. Wilbert Ronald cultivars, which are leading edge today. We were also one of the first lily companies to list interdivisional hybrid lilies. What are some of the most memorable moments or challenges the Lily Nook has faced and overcome in its 30-year history? Seeing our father receive the Slate McDonald Award, given to an individual who has made an outstanding contribution to the North American Lily Society. When Neepawa embraced Eleanor Nicholson's vision for the Lily Festival, the parades were a highlight for our family. We would decorate a float and hand out lilies to Eastview Lodge residents to put a smile on their faces. Also trying to back 7 tour buses into a parking spots at the Lily Nook with cars lining the highway and driveway. How has lily breeding evolved over the past 30 years? And how has the Lily Nook stayed at the forefront of these advancements? We are always looking for new products. We've been flying to Holland over the years to source more varieties. With over 1,500 named varieties grown, how do you manage such a diverse collection? And what goes into selecting new varieties for your annual catalog? We have a catalog and have assigned a numbering system to each lily. When selecting new lilies, we look for new stock and unique varieties, different colors, and high bud counts. The announcement of the opening of your new location mentioned the possibility of selling your well-established business. Can you speak about the long-term vision for the Lily Nook? We are hoping to find a buyer who will keep the Lily Nook in the area, as we have many customers who travel to purchase here in person. Many of our customers come to visit with us from Saskatchewan and Winnipeg areas. We are open to leasing the land here. It's a great seasonal business. What kind of future are you hoping for the Lily Nook's legacy? We hope someone will continue this legacy that my father started. There is plenty of potential to grow and expand the business further. And what message do you have for your customers and the community as the Lily Nook marks its 30th anniversary? Thank you for all of your support and friendships over the years. It has made the endeavor of the Lily Nook worthwhile. And we move on to sports. Dax Turner appreciates his chance to compete. Former NACI track athlete looking forward to World University Games. And pictured up is Dax Turner will soon be headed to Germany to compete in the World University Games, by Owen Devereux. Dax Turner has always been in search of that next challenge when it comes to his athletics career. From his standout performances right here at home in Neepawa to his record-setting efforts at national events, Dax has been taking his abilities to that next level. Turner now has his chance to test his talents on the international stage as he will be competing at the FISU Summer World University Games in Germany. But before jetting off to Europe for this opportunity, Dax returned home to visit with family and friends, as well as give back to the community that helped mold his character. On Thursday, July 10th, Turner spent the day interacting with the youngsters at the Neepawa area summer day camp. After that, there was a meet and greet for the community to wish him well. The Banner and Press was able to get a few moments with Dax to discuss what participating in the World University Games meant for him personally. I'm very excited to be able to represent this country. This is a dream I have been working towards for a long time, and though it's taken a while to get here, maybe a bit longer than I had hoped, to be able to compete at an event the size of the World University Games is something I'm proud of, stated Turner. I'm grateful to where I am right now, and I'm very lucky. Turner's specialty is the triple jump, an event he has excelled at through the years. Not only is he the University of Manitoba's record holder in the triple jump, but also a 4-time Canada West champion. Turner holds the under 18, under 20, and senior outdoor triple jump records in Manitoba, and he also holds the under 18 and under 20 indoor records. Other accolades include a gold medal at the 2024 U Sports Nationals and a silver at this past year's championship. Turner has also had an amazing performance at last year's Olympic trials, earning silver in the triple jump with a leap of 16.14 meters, which set a new provincial record. But now Turner will face the best in the world in Germany. A few years ago, Dax would have looked at this competition in a different way, perhaps placing more pressure on himself than was necessary. But Turner explained to the Banner and Press that some challenges in his training this past year, along with other challenges away from the track, have made him finally reevaluate his mindset. My indoor season didn't go as planned, and I was dealing with some stuff external to track that got in the way of training. Previous years, I would have put a lot of pressure on myself, but I've been able to switch the perspective, noted Turner. Through the strength and support from his parents and coaches, Dax changed his ideology and is putting less pressure on himself for perfection. That shift has aided in his return to form and to looking at his latest opportunity with a renewed appreciation. My track career in a lot of ways hasn't gone exactly to plan, but I think I'm okay with that. Maybe it took me a while to be okay with that, but I'm grateful for where I am right now. And the Neepawa Cubs sweep the Austin A's. Mavs and Royals are tied, by Joshua Jackson. And pictured Neepawa Cubs number 9, Brad Murray, lays out to tag an Austin A's player during the game in one of Santa Clara's Baseball League semifinals. The Cubs would end up winning the game 12-8 and would sweep the best-of-3 series. The Cubs will start the semifinals against the Plumas Pirates on July 25th. It's playoff time in the Santa Clara Baseball League as 4 teams vie to face either the Plumas Pirates or Portage Padres in the semifinals. The regular season, which came down to the wire, saw the Neepawa Cubs capture 3rd place in the league after putting on a dominant showing, thumping the Carberry Royals 12-0. The Portage Padres would clinch their 4th consecutive first-place SCBL title with an 11-3-1 record, while the Plumas Pirates took 2nd place with a 10-4-1 record. Neepawa's first playoff game in the best-of-3 series against the Austin A's was originally scheduled for Friday, July 11th, but due to rain, it was played on Monday. In the first game playoff, the Austin A's would start strong by putting up a run, but Neepawa would strike back in the bottom of the 2nd, capitalizing on an Austin error to take the lead 4-1. At the bottom of the 3rd, the Cubs would continue to command the plate, adding 3 more to grab a 7-1 lead. The A's mounted a comeback starting at the top of the 6th. Austin would load the bases with 0 outs and would score 2 off a deep hit to the left, then would add another 2 runs, making it an 8-5 game for the Cubs. Neepawa would fire back to secure their lead after the Cubs scored 3 runs off 2 doubles, making it 12-5. The A's would do their best to mount a 7th-inning comeback, scoring 3 runs, but it wouldn't be enough as the Cubs took Game 1 of the series, outlasting the Austin A's 12-8. Game 2 between the Cubs and A's was hosted on Tuesday, July 15th in Neepawa. The Cubs plummeted the Austin squad 6-1 and have punched their ticket to the semifinals against the Plumas Pirates. Mavericks and Royals go to extra innings. In the Carberry-Minnedosa series, the Minnedosa Mavericks would take home one of the best-of-3 quarterfinals 9-4 over Carberry. In Games 2, the Carberry Royals would even the playing field after a 10-6 victory in extra innings. Torrey Scott was the extra inning hero for the Royals, hitting a grand slam with runners starting on 1st and 2nd in extra innings. The series is tied 1 game apiece, with Game 3 taking place on Wednesday, July 23rd. The semifinal round for the Santa Clara Baseball League starts Friday, July 25th. The focus for the Neepawa Cubs and Carberry Royals now shifts to the Manitoba Senior A Baseball Provincials, taking place in Carberry from July 18th to 20th, where the Royals and Cubs will vie for the provincial title. Rapid City Pork Fest, a feast for the palate and the eyes, by Ken Waddell. And pictured as one of the many very fine automobiles at the Rapid City Pork Fest car show was this 1953 Chevy truck. It is owned by John McNary of Alexander, and it used to be a fire truck at McCreary, Manitoba. McNary pretty much rebuilt the truck and used a second truck as a donor of the extra cab, so it is now a crew cab with a dump box on the backs. In addition to being a car collector, McNary is the president of the Commonwealth Air Training Plan, CATP, Museum in Brandon. He has lots of stories about the museum and is currently hoping to get a new hangar built to house the various airplanes and equipment of the CATP Museum. And Rapid City's third annual Pork Fest on July 12th, sponsored by the Rapid City Wildlife Association, RCWA, was blessed with fine weather, good attendance, a great pork supper, cardboard boat races, and a really good card show. As the sun beat down on the festival goers and the breezes wafted across the lake, cardboard boat builders vied to be the race winners. To qualify, the boats must be made of only cardboard and tape. Most of the boats made it over the finish line as they floated back to shore, but a few sank. Fortunately for the boaters whose craft sank, the water at Rapid City Beach was shallow on July 12th, and it was warm too. Rapid City Beach is home to many events throughout the summer, including a farmer's market every second Thursday. At the market, local groups take turns putting on a fundraising supper. Jamie Richter of the RCWA said, "We had an amazing turnout for our third annual Pork Fest. Once again, the cardboard boat races were a hit for both the contestants and spectators. Everyone had fun. We had almost 30 classic cars, a handful of motorcycles, and one person even brought their antique tractor down." And we move on to Dance Camp Youth takes center stage in Neepawa. Youth who participated in the Sienna Summer Dance Camp at Arts Forward throughout the past week put on a final performance on Thursday, July 10th. Due to weather conditions, the show was moved to the Roxy Theatre. A total of 50 youth took part in the program and 6 dances were performed on stage. And going back to our last story, Neepawa students topped the youth cardboard boat race. Neepawa Middle School students, Tyson and Clayton, were the winners of Youth Division of the Rapid City Wildlife Association Cardboard Boat Race 2025. Their very square craft not once but twice took to the water and handily won the finals. Congratulations on that. And the Brandon Food Rescue brings affordable groceries to the Neepawa Salvation Army. The Neepawa Salvation Army recently hosted the Brandon Food Rescue grocery store, an organization bringing a new approach to food security by providing rescued food at low price. On Sunday, July 13th, for $10, patrons could take all of the potatoes they wanted. Plus, the Food Rescue grocery store had lots of other items available to buy. And welcome to your home away from home. New Best Western Plus Hotel officially opens in Neepawa. And pictured, the New Best Western Plus Hotel, above left, is now open for business. The establishment was open to the public last Thursday, with media and town representatives being provided with an early peek, above right, by Owen Devereaux. And pictured at the bottom, a sample of the rooms that can be expected at the Best Western Plus Hotel in Neepawa. Looks clean. Murray Parrott and the rest of the shareholders group for the new Best Western Plus in Neepawa no longer has to worry about being asked the question, when's the new hotel going to open? That inquiry was answered in an impressive fashion on Thursday, July 10th, as the new hotel chain officially opened its door and began welcoming guests. But just a few hours before it began operation, the Banner and Press, along with a group of investors, contractors, and local dignitaries, were all invited to tour the facility. The upper middle scale hotel, which is located just off of Highway 5 at 50 Howden Avenue, offers a step up from the standard Best Western. It features 72 rooms, including several executive type suites, as well as a conference room, pool, and water slide. While the hotel section is fully operational, the pool and water slide are not yet accessible. Those areas will be available, however, within 3 to 6 months, respectively. Quite the journey to get here. It has been almost 2 years to the day since the official groundbreaking ceremony for the hotel took place on July 17, 2023. Murray Parrott, who represented the local shareholders group, said it's been quite the journey to get to this day when the doors actually open. Parrott also noted that the combined efforts and support of the local stakeholders, investors on this project was amazing. It's earth-shattering and very rewarding to have 46 different entities have faith in their local community and faith in our board to get this going, said Parrott. And I'm sure now the first question somebody asks me out on the general public not be, when is the hotel open? Parrott added that contributions of Excel 7 Limited, the general contractor on the project, deserve to be spotlighted. A special item of note for the Best Western Plus is that it will feature the photography of local artist Jody Baker. In total, 22 of Baker's portraits will be seen in the lobby and within the rooms. Baker said that this has been an incredible experience working with the Best Western on this endeavor, and it's been an honor and very exciting to partner with Best Western to showcase Neepawa to travelers through this artwork. And Saturday fun at the Minnedosa Museum. The Minnedosa Museum in Heritage Village hosted its second annual Farmers Festival on Saturday, July 12th. Activities for the day included the perusal of the many historic buildings on site, viewing of farm equipment from various years, music, games, and more. And we move on to Looking Back by Casper Warehan. 125 years ago, July 1900, it is reported that wild fruit will be plentiful in the Neepawa district this season. Saskatoons are more abundant than they have been for years, while settlers from Rocky Mountain report raspberries in plenty and ripening fast since the recent rains. Wild cherries and plums will also be a good crop. And 100 years ago, 1925, and that was building the Mountain Road Church, and pictured, although it's rare to see photos in older papers, depending on the year, there are occasional exceptions. This photo depicted the Mountain Road Church was one such exception. It appeared in the July 14, 1925 edition of the press and was taken on July 4th, with work on the exterior still being in progress. The formal opening of the magnificent new Orthodox Greek church at Mountain Road took place on Sunday last, July 12th, when the population of practically that whole countryside was present to participate in the ceremony. When a man forbids himself to do a thing, the restraint makes for the liberation of the race. When he forbids his neighbor, the tendency is towards tyranny. Nurse Theo McCone left yesterday for Chicago to resume training after a visit here with her parents, Mr. and Mrs. John McCone. Note regarding this week's feature item at the Mountain Road Church, here are some additional details. The official name associated with the church is the Patronage of the Blessed Virgin Mary Ukrainian Catholic Church. The first St. Mary's Ukrainian Catholic Church, built at Moulton Road in the rural municipality of Rosedale, stood at that location from 1904 to 1925. The first Ukrainian settlers to the region arrived in 1896. At first, they had attended church service in the Huns Valley, now known as Polonia. Construction for the church, pictured right on this page, took place between 1924 and 1925 under the supervision of Father Philip Roux. It was later burnt as a result of a lightning strike. And 75 years ago, 1950, Frederick Goodwill McClure passed away suddenly on June 30th in Royal Columbian Hospital, New Westminster, BC, following a heart attack. Mr. McClure was well known in the Spring Hill and Neepawa districts as a grain buyer. He lived for many years. Arden William Matthews left some time ago for CPR station work and is now at Gimli as an assistant agent. 50 years ago, 1975, the annual Orange Day Parade in Neepawa was held on Saturday, July 12th, to commemorate the Battle of the Boyne, fought at the Boyne River in Ireland in 1690. In the battle, William of Orange, William III of England, defeated the deposed monarch James II, who fled the throne in the bloodless revolution of 1688. In the Neepawa parade, Terry McCurry of Plumas played the role of William III, the victorious leader. A study of the condition of Lake Irwin and the effect of its present use as a recreation facility has been requested by the Neepawa Town Council in a resolution passed at their regular meeting Tuesday, July 15th. The decision to seek the water resource study came in a discussion of the condition of the lake, which serves as a reservoir for the town and hopefully will provide guidelines for the town for future development of Lake Irwin area. Mentmore Pool Elevators celebrated their 50th anniversary by holding an old-fashioned picnic at the KFC picnic grounds on Sunday, June 29th, at 2 p.m. And 20 years ago, 2005, small-town Manitoba lost a lifelong booster when former businessman Lawrence Hargraves passed away suddenly in Neepawa. He was 79. A longtime member of the Neepawa Area Development Corporation, NADCO, Hargraves was instrumental in establishing the Margaret Lawrence Home. He also championed the Main Street Manitoba program, which was responsible for beautifying downtown Neepawa in the late 1980s. As well, a pocket park was built in front of Hargraves' drugstore, now Sears. And Pick-a-Pop. How many readers remember the Pick-a-Pop in Neepawa? This ad was from July 3rd, 1975 edition. And because this is NACTV, here's highlights of the week for NACTV. Coffee Chat Multicultural Day, July 21st at 4:40, July 23rd at 12:40, and July 25th at 9 p.m. Coffee Chat Children's Business Fair 2025, July 22nd at 6:30, July 24th at 6:30, and July 25th at 9 p.m., and July 27th at 2 p.m. And the Carberry Fair, July 22nd at 12:35 p.m., and July 24th at 1 p.m. The Bingo Bonanza over 21,000, Blackout over 12,000, and community announcements on NACTV is only $2 per day, and it airs 2 to 3 times a day. And that concludes the reading of the Neepawa Banner and Press for Friday, July 18th, 2025. I hope you enjoyed.